Quote, "We doubt our abilities when we have yet to be tested." Marine Sergeant Major. I chose this one because this is my second quote video. I'm obviously still new to the whole YouTube thing. And so I thought it was fitting. Little background behind this. I was in the military, Marine Corps in particular. And while I was going through a course, there was a sergeant major that came in, and typical practice, they bring a higher up in to instill wisdom and knowledge upon the younger generation. During his speech, he made this quote, and honestly, it's stuck with me ever since. It's been about, I want to say, almost 10 years, believe it or not, because it's 2025 now. It'll been about 10 years since I heard him say this. I put Marine Sergeant Major because, in all honesty, I can't remember his name, and I feel a little bad for that, to be quite frank. But his words stuck out to me, obviously, because I remember after he left the room, the first thing I did was write that down. I recited it in my head while he was talking to make sure I just wouldn't forget, which is not an easy thing to do because if you know, these guys can talk for a long time. Seriously, honestly, once you get to like a certain level, you just get used to the sound of your own voice, I think. But regardless, I think this quote's very true. I think it applies to life in general. I think that we go through a lot of, growth and regression. Life is not a linear path. It's more like up and down. Like a mountain range. The outline of a mountain range is up and down and up and down and up and down. I think life's kind of like that. And in those moments where you doubt yourself and you haven't actually been through the thing that you want to accomplish, there is quite a bit of uncertainty, quite a bit of fear, quite a bit of longing to stay where you are. And I think that's natural. I think it's human. And even though you've been prepping for a certain moment, you still feel unworthy. You might still feel unprepared. And even when you're in it, and you might even be having success, you feel like a fraud. I think that's what the basis of imposter syndrome is. But I thought it was fitting, of course, because as I start this new channel, and I'm with you guys, and I'm having these conversations, I thought about it for a long time. I think my brother even threw out the idea of like, hey, you should start a YouTube channel. And he did it so like a couple years ago. But I didn't do it. Not because I guess I did doubt myself to a degree, to be quite fair, to be quite honest. But I think for me, I didn't know what to exactly center this channel around. I knew it would be something related to my writing to some degree. But I didn't know how it would come about. And so now, like at least 2 years later, I'm just deciding to do it, to just try to see where it goes. Or another example, when I think about it, like I'm a guy, so you have guys who do martial arts. And I think in the back of our minds, we're always running through our head what would happen in a physical altercation. How would you respond? What would you do? And some guys will pump their chest out and try to talk about how brave and competent they would be, and whether or not they've actually even been in a fight. But I think a lot of that comes from trying to show a strong face, even though that you haven't been tested. Maybe you probably haven't had a fight in your life. Probably never thrown a correct jab. You probably just throw haymakers where you watch the videos, right? The guy extends his arm and to the side and then swings wild and overreaches every time he throws. So, but we tell ourselves in the moment, I'm gonna be ready. I see red, bro, kind of thing. Even though a lot of us haven't been in that situation yet. And then there's doubt there, but we don't want to show that because we don't want to look weak. Things of that nature. I think it's natural again. I think it's human, but I think we can take steps towards being more competent and testing ourselves along the way to build that competence, to build that confidence, to build that experience, to know that with a certain reasonable assurity how we would respond when the moment comes. And so as I end this, I think to myself, well, was I ready before I started this YouTube channel? I guess the answer is I was ready as I could be. I had already had some material locked away. It needed some fine tuning a little bit, but here we are. And so this first year is me being tested. And so we'll see how that goes. And with that being said, what are you battling with? What are you waiting to be tested on? Is there anything you want to prove to yourself if you're listening to this? Let me know what you think. Leave it down in the comments below. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Get your feedback. See where your head's at. But I think I'll leave it there. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like what we're doing over here. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.